offensive coordinator, Jordan Lesley. Questions for Coach Lesley? Greg?
Jordan, so let's go back to Saturday to start with. Just give me your overall impression defensively. What you think you did well, what didn't you do well?
I think if you'd have told me before the game 2 point, whatever, 7 or 9, a rush, and we outrushed them, I would have probably told you we'd win the game. We had an opportunity at 2 turnovers that we missed. That was probably the difference. Right before the end of half, and then right there on one of the third downs, I just didn't see on one end of the first half. Didn't see the ball. I think if Aiden sees it and catches it, he's got a pretty good line down the sideline with 19 seconds left to get points. But I thought our kids fought. We had really just had one critical error there on the long explosive. You just can't do those in those games. Not even one. And good teams, which they are, credit to them, and they make you pay.
Just one side had one call,
Yeah, just
one
a miss
side had
signal.
another.
Miss signal. Just didn't see it. One side had it, one side didn't. And it just happened to be with what they were doing, which I could see from the box, and what we had called was to combat just that, but we just missed it.
I was going to ask, basically and mentally, how does that happen? A 60-yard pass with miscommunication, and how do you make sure it doesn't happen again?
Well, you just gotta. When we're facing a tempo team, and I think a lot of times the kids get caught in the previous play, whether that was a gain, whatever happened. It could be a positive play, negative play for defense, doesn't matter. And it's very simply play the next one. And the first thing your eyes have to do, we have those systems in place. We have the green dot. That's one thing, but you always have a backup and a backup to your backup, and those backups are very simply what we practice every day. And the person talking misses it, then it's just a miss, and you just got to keep working it, and that's always a priority for us. We work that all the time. Is our offense will do it tomorrow. Tempo. What's important is the very next signal, and you just can't have 3 or 4 guys miss it, and that's what happens.
How hard is it in a spot where you have a big swing of the missed field goal and the defense has to come back out and the momentum kind of going from one side to the other? How difficult is that to play through that? Could that have played a part in the miscommunication, do you think?
No, I don't. No, it doesn't. You have to, in any sudden change, coaches use different terms in different ways, but the easiest one is you have to put out the fire, whatever that is. And so you can't worry about the last play, no matter if that was a sudden change, offensive, didn't get 4th down, interception, missed field goal, whatever it is. And they have to be ready, defensively had to be ready at all times, no matter what the situation is. And circumstances don't matter. It's play the next play. And I think we did that with the exception of one play. And that's the margin for error. It's not very big.
You haven't had Aubrey a lot at times this year. How's that impacted you? And now that you sort of come up with the Tarnu-Carrico package to sub for him, how do you think that's working?
They're essentially the same skill set, same player. Having him to get caught up with some of the things, fundamentally terminology at that position, is something we've kind of had to hit fast forward on. And we've got a really good freshman there, but he's a freshman. He's not ready. And so, and KK's done a phenomenal job coming in and playing that role. And it's unfortunate for 2, but we just got to, when you get in this part of the season, it's just next guy up, and you got to figure it out. No matter, again, the circumstances do not matter.
Using Carrico there, too, obviously different situation, but sort of the same position. How has he done?
He's done a good job. Done a good job. It fits, what we're asking him to do. Some of those sets and personnels, it kind of fits what he likes to do. And so he's done. It's been good. Gives us something a little bit different there.
They have a stud running back and a great running game. What do you know about what they're going to try to do on the ground, and maybe even what you can maybe take from the Oklahoma State performance you guys did have against another elite running back with having success? in
Well,
college?
it's you don't take much other than the skill of the player. The schemes are different. How they're attacking you is different. So you have to just watch that, and there'll be some takeaways. But I mean, they're different backs, but they're extremely talented, and they make it go. One thing that they have always done on the offense, they're very impressive on the offensive line. They know who to block. They know how to ID. They know, they don't do anything that gets themselves in a bad situation. I think they're extremely high in tackle for loss numbers, and that says a lot about their front. So they're a good football team.
The quarterback, what concerns you about him?
Speed, extending plays. I think that goes hand in hand with a guy like that. And he does that as well as anybody.
Just watching them some on TV, how is he going through progressions? Is it a lot of one-read throws that you see him from him? Does he scan the field? I know he's got size back there. Or is he a guy that's going to, see it throw?
It's a little bit of both. I think it depends on situationally. What they're doing, early downs versus third downs versus 2-minute versus red zone. It's all a little bit different, but it's a little bit of everything.
You guys got the deck better than pretty much anybody has all season. How much can you going to take from that game to build upon against, like you said, another quarterback that can extend plays with athleticism?
Yeah, you just have to get your pieces where you need them. Our front has played pretty well, continues to do so. But it's a different type of quarterback. Was really impressed with Beck and his athleticism, and this guy has, very similar athleticism, but it's just straight line speed. And so you have to think about that as however you're going to, build your rushes and build your, particularly your early down defense, and how you have to get those guys in position. And it's not like it's big, like, hey, we're going to put this whole new package in. It's just kind of tweaking what you do and how you rush and how you transition, from run to pass and those type things. But it'll be little tweaks, but nothing major.
Then are you more concerned with protecting the edge, keeping him from getting to the pocket, to the sideline, or more for, not allowing a huge inside gap where, if you get through that, you might have a big gash play?
Yeah, a huge inside gap is a way bigger problem. And that's where you start. You got to do some things to try to contain him, but you can't take away from that and open up the inside of the offense against these guys. So it's as simple as I can make it.
The longer scoring drives, the couple 10 plays, a 17 play, what do you say to the guys to make sure that doesn't happen? Or was it scheme stuff, physical stuff, or was it mental stuff, concentration stuff?
In the first half, we missed more tackles than we have. There was one of those. There's two that stick out to me. I can't remember, one first half, one second half. Third downs. One was a drop, and the other one was a missed tackle. The thing is, we knew going into the game, third and medium. We talk about 3 to 6 in that range, and that was something that we had to try to stay out of. And what they do offensively, early down wise, like first down's the key down, and if you're playing second and 5 to 6 to 7, and it's not that hard to get to third and 3 to 4 to 5, right? And so then you have to tighten things up, and very simply you have to make plays on the ball, and we didn't do that.
You saw them. New coordinator, new quarterback, just different style. How much has changed for them?
Not very much.
Similar. Okay.
Very similar.
Speed at receiver kind of always been like a sneaky concept for them. They've kind of had guys who can run too. That seems like it's there too. Does that open up their passing game?
Yeah. I mean, that's when you can take those guys and move them in different positions, and you're having to trying to find where they are, and then off of where they are is now what are the concepts that you're getting off of that. There's really 13 probably had the speed, 9 had the size, but like you said, it's sneaky. They were sneaky fast, and then 18, the tight end, who's a good passing threat for them. But you just have to, again, I said this last week, like that team's going to make you adjust as you go in, and you're constantly playing a chess match. But I thought we had our opportunities. There's no question about it in the game. I mean, you look up in the third quarter, going into the fourth. Our kids, they fought their ass off to get to that position. We just, 1 or 2 plays here or there you have to make in that game, particularly third down, and you can't have the one big bust. But you have to make them, and we just didn't.
The consensus has been, for everyone we've talked to today, like this, it was there. We had opportunities. There was a lot that really could have been different. When you talk to them afterwards and say, like yesterday, today, what do you say to them because of the way last game ended, in order to be more effective in having to brush it off and get focused on the next?
Yeah, I mean, you just very simply look at the mistakes and you make the corrections. And here's the thing, like I could go back to our 3 losses, defensively at least, and I could go through each one of those games against really good opponents. And I can get it down to a handful. And those are I think it's proven those are good football teams. And you can't, that's the margin for error. And you just we have to just keep getting better and keep practicing and keep finding those 4 to 5, whatever it is, those few plays. And our whole league is like that. And that's the way it's, that's the way it's going to be for the rest of the season. That's just what our league is. And so, it's not, I told them after the game, like we didn't get to winning the last 2 by panicking and hey, here's what we did wrong. Here's what we have to fix, and here's what we have to continue to get better at. And that's all you can do. I'm not going to, I'm not down on them. Don't feel any different about them. Like I said, I thought they fought their ass off. And they give themselves a chance, but in critical situations, particularly third downs, red zone, when the play is there, we have to make it. And no matter and circumstances like officials, none of that matters. All right, that's a really good football team. Had just like the ones before, and the one coming in Saturday, really good football teams, and you have to make those plays in critical areas of the field and in critical situations. And if we didn't, you have to look back and why, fix it, and move on. And you can't nobody's going to get better by dwelling on it. It's fix it and go.
Oh, go ahead, Greg.
Your thoughts on your D-line rotation, especially some of the sort of younger guys, Redwood, Russell, even Kinsler getting a lot of snaps now, seemingly. What's your thought on those guys?
You got to grow up fast in this environment. I mean, it's just, and again, in our league, those things are going to happen. Nate Gabriel is one that has got to grow up fast. And I say grow up, and like games like that, there was 1 or 2 criticals where some of those guys were in, and they have to understand there may be 1 or 2 plays, but it's the magnitude of where you're at, particularly down there close to the goal line where they have to perform. And youth doesn't. I'm not going to use that as an excuse. We got to grow. We got to get better.
I got a quick one here. I don't know how many games you studied of them, but that kid's been sacked 8 times. For an athletic kid, that's a lot. Do you see a common thing there that he's been sacked 8 times?
No, I mean I think a couple of those were BYU. BYU did a good job, changed some things up on them. Obviously, they're good. They're good in Provo, but I don't really see a common theme. I think a lot of times, those whether they tell them to run or not. I think even though a lot of times they're athletic quarterbacks, they still have the quarterback mentality, and maybe they press a little bit, try to make a throw. That's all I say. I don't really see a common theme with it.
I was just going to ask the penalty in the end zone there that eventually led to them scoring.
When it's 14-10.
Yeah. Is there anything else you could teach there in terms of your player to avoid that scenario, or?
I don't, so let me be careful here.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get you.
No, I know. It really doesn't matter. I've been in trouble for it. All I saw was a ball, I think, probably hit the front of Ruby.
Just say, was that catchable pass?
It hit the front of Ruby, I think, or in the band somewhere. That's what I saw.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank y'all.